a creator with millions of fans. But now under fire for a storm of controversies that have left the internet divided.
Oh my God.
Where she's exposing Anna's family.
It seems like every other day a new cringe-worthy creator goes viral. And if that's not enough, the old favorite, the ones who were once adored and idolized, are being exposed as shady, manipulative, or downright unhinged. And today we're peeling back the layers of a particularly spicy saga involving TikTok star Atis Paul.
Is your sign to get a lash lift? Because look at my lashes. Those are my natural lashes, just from having them lifted up. And then you can go to the beach and get your eyes wet and it looks like you're wearing fake lashes. It's very beautiful.
Anna has recently found herself at the center of a heated and messy feud with none other than Michaela Testa.
By the way, she buys animals for content and then neglects them. We know that. I don't post content like that.
Fellow influencer, ex-best friend, and to add even more fuel to the fire, ex-girlfriend of Anna's brother, Atis.
What now, bitch?
Over the past few months, Testa has flooded the internet with a barrage of TikToks, YouTube videos, and Snapchat stories, leveling serious accusations at the Paul family. She claims Atis was physically abusive, took half of her OnlyFans earnings, and manipulated her throughout their relationship. Michaela also accuses Anna of defending her brother, fabricating a rags to riches narrative for clout.
This car in this photo here, I purchased.
Neglecting her pet birds.
I can't wait for these birds to die.
And mocking her own fans behind the scenes.
Anna is preying on the vulnerability and desperation of impressionable young fans for her profit under the disguise of self-love, empowerment, and giving back.
In response, both Anna and Atis have posted videos attempting to clear their names and share their side of the story. But unfortunately, the public does not seem convinced by their version of the events, with some of Anna's viewers commenting, $30 food shopping while living in a beach house? Doesn't make sense, babe. I am sorry, I am too broke to go to Stagecoach. It's over, accept it, Anna. What once was an admired TikTok and OF star is now being viewed as a manipulative, untrustworthy figure. Atis Paul has become the internet's latest villain, or victim, depending on who you ask. So buckle up, because we're diving into the wild, messy, and mind-bending drama between Atis Paul and Michaela Testa. At the end of it all, you can decide who's telling the truth and who's just fooling the internet. Atis Paul is a 25-year-old TikToker and OnlyFans content creator who was born and raised in Australia. While she was brought up in Australia, her parents are originally from Germany and Turkey. She comes from a very mixed cultural background and often shares about this aspect of her life on social media. She initially started using TikTok when she was 19 years old. While she claimed in interviews that her fame on both TikTok and OnlyFans came randomly, we can see her through her videos and content that she puts tremendous effort into staying relevant on the internet. She first gained visibility on TikTok when she posted a random laundry video that went viral. She was merely 19 when this video took off, making her realize that she could make a career out of her TikTok account. After this video, her content only kept evolving, and her account started getting millions of followers. As of now, she has more than 6 million followers on TikTok and over 2.5 million followers on Instagram. While she is also quite active on OnlyFans, she puts most of her effort into creating daily vlogs, reels, and travel videos to entertain her social media audience. If you're interested in finding out what she usually posts on TikTok, here are a few glimpses of her day-to-day content, which appears pretty fun, spontaneous, and harmless.
Breakfast in LA and dinner in Germany, and we're taking Glenn's older sister Steph to Germany for the first time. She's never met the whole family, but today she is. Also, Glenn got 3 grilled cheese sandwiches for breakfast, and then more food just kept coming. He got Chick-fil-A, he got Macca's, and he devoured everything. And you know what? Good on him. He had a really nice breakfast. And on the way to the airport, we saw this little delivery car delivering food. It was really sad. And listen, I don't know how Steph and I put up with Atis and Glenn. They are so annoying. They act like 5-year-olds the whole time, I swear. But as we were landing in Germany, you could start seeing the grass fields. And I grew up in Germany. Ich bin in Deutschland aufgewachsen. Das ist mein Zuhause. So this is so nice to see. I just love it. And I actually flew my dad out a couple days earlier, so we met him at this little tiny hole-in-the-wall place. You would not even recognize it driving past, but they do the best pasta. They do fresh pizza. You order it and they do it in the wood fire oven, and oh, it is such a yummy place. And can I say something? Last time we were in Europe, I said that everybody here drinks fizzy water, and I got...
Apart from her social media presence, she's also the founder of a beauty brand called Polly. While there are tons of bad reviews circulating about this skincare brand, it's generating considerable revenue for Anna. Her OnlyFans page is also quite active and thriving, and according to the Daily Mail, it is her main source of income. She reportedly makes over $220,000 from her OF subscriptions. For those of you who are unaware of how OF works, it's an adult site that lets you share bold and pictures of yourself with your subscribers. Anna is one of the biggest Australian creators on OnlyFans, and she also openly talks about her presence on the platform. According to Anna, nudity is not a big thing for her, and she deeply enjoys creating OF content. From what we've told you about Anna so far, it's clear that she is a big name in the influencer world. She has millions of followers, a thriving OF account, and a highly credible fan base. Then why had the internet suddenly started hating her? At the start of this year, Anna's videos received thousands of positive comments and affectionate notes. And now, fellow content creators are calling her out. Reddit is filled with posts against her, and the entire internet is calling her a liar. The reason behind this severe backlash is none other than Michaela Testa, another TikTok creator and OF model who happens to be Anna's ex-best friend and her brother's ex-girlfriend. Michaela, who is comparatively a smaller creator than Anna, has recently blown up on the internet with her confessions about the Paul family. It was extremely surprising for the internet to hear of all these dark truths from Michaela's mouth, as she used to be close friends with Anna. They often posted videos together when Michaela was in a relationship with Atis, and even got matching tattoos. Before this whole controversy blew up on social media, there were rumors of a bad falling out between these two internet celebrities. To put things into perspective, ever since her breakup with Atis, Michaela has always been open about her dislike for the Paul family. But Anna's fans and the loyal audience she has cultivated on social media never took Michaela seriously until now. Merely 2 months ago, Michaela posted a 9-minute-long video exposing the lies and fraud of Anna Paul and her brother. In this video, Michaela accused Anna of running illegal lotteries on her OF account, ridiculing her fans, and taking advantage of her impressionable audience.
In my opinion, it seems the Paul siblings have scamming running through their blood, and I'm not sure why.
It's worth mentioning here that Anna's whole account is filled with videos related to body positivity, self-empowerment, and self-acceptance. A lot of young people who follow her content online find her videos extremely reassuring and relatable. However, Michaela in her rant video literally shredded Anna's whole sweet girl personality to pieces by claiming that she just pretends to be woke and body positive to lure a young audience to her channel and take advantage of their trust. Michaela even recalled an incident where Anna shamelessly called a plus-sized fan fat and sweaty, and according to Michaela, it was not a one-time thing, as it was common for Anna to mock and ridicule people based on their appearances.
Meanwhile, right before these videos were trending in 2021 on the South Bank Bridge, when you were peak body positivity, love yourself version of Anna, a plus-sized fan came up to you and asked for a hug and a picture. You smiled at her. You told her that you loved her. She told you how your words online have helped her be more comfortable in her body. The moment she walked away, you told Atis that she was annoying and gross and you didn't want to agree to the hug because she was fat and sweaty. Atis laughed. These were your words, Anna. I heard them. Things like this were a common occurrence.
Since Anna has gained considerable popularity on OnlyFans, she has occasionally promoted on her Instagram that she's giving back money to her subscribers. These giveaways were framed as generous gestures or tokens of appreciation. However, something about this behavior didn't sit right, and Michaela called it out perfectly. According to her, Anna frequently claimed she was gifting $500 to her OF subscribers, but this was actually a calculated tactic to attract more customers to her account, a platform where she posts explicit pictures of herself. It's an extremely sickening act given the fact that almost 80% of Anna's Instagram followers are underage. By advertising her OF account on Instagram, Anna is trying to lure young and impressionable people to her OF and profit off their subscriptions.
By posting IG stories advertising that you're sending money to subscribers, you are directly trying to lure new customers over to your page, a page which costs $16 to access. This $16 is essentially a lottery ticket.
Michaela also said that running giveaways on a platform that charges subscription fees is illegal and completely unethical.
If you charge an entry fee in order for somebody to win something, it's classed by law as a lottery in Australia. Anna is not licensed to hold lotteries. It's unethical, illegal, and against OF and Instagram's T&Cs. And on top of that, it's exploitation, particularly for her young audience.
Next, Michaela went after Atis, her ex-boyfriend. She said some seriously dark things about him, leaving everyone on the internet extremely shocked and unnerved. She accused Atis of physically abusing and harming her multiple times throughout their relationship. She also claimed that fights with Atis were quite ugly, where he would often threaten to harm himself if Michaela tried to leave him.
Atis Paul has physically abused me multiple times when I tried to leave him. He would hurt himself and threaten his life to scare me into not leaving after he would hurt me.
Michaela also revealed that her relationship with Atis involved financial. He took 50% of her income under the guise of managing her career, yet according to Michaela, he contributed very little in return. She further accused him of stealing money from her accounts, only returning the funds after being caught.
He would take large percentages such as 50% of my income to manage me, but in reality, there was no managing, and I personally think it was financial abuse. After we broke up, he took jewelry from my room, hacked into my bets accounts, withdrew money, and then deleted the accounts, thinking I wouldn't notice.
In the video, Michaela alluded to other potentially criminal actions from Atis's past, but said she couldn't disclose details because he was a minor at the time. However, she did recount that one of Atis's ex-partners had accused him of assault, an allegation Michaela said she believed. According to her, the experiences described by the ex-partner mirrored her own. Michaela also opened up about the physical toll of her sexual relationship with Atis, saying it had led to recurring UTIs and other health issues. In the end, Michaela talked about how Anna dragged her whole social media presence on a rags to riches story. In interviews and TikTok videos, she repeatedly talked about how poor and broke she was growing up. She told stories about how her parents were not able to afford their school uniforms, and how they had a limited budget for groceries. Her entire online persona was based on this story. When she went to interviews and events, people would invite her with phrases like, "Anna is the influencer who turned her life around," or "a social media star who grew up on welfare."
Anna Paul grew up on welfare, but she managed to turn her life around thanks to apps like Instagram, OnlyFans, and YouTube.
She also claimed that she was now financially supporting her parents and rescuing them from a life of poverty. But none of it was true. Michaela, who has known Anna for the past 20 years, finally exposed the elaborate lies and exaggerated stories she had been telling.
I know what it's like to grow up with no money on Christmas. You know, my parents spent their last $20 on prawns so that we could have like a nice meal.
According to Michaela, Anna was never broke growing up. In fact, she belonged to an upper middle class family, and her father worked extremely hard to provide them a good lifestyle. She added that Anna's childhood house was a beautiful home with a pool and everything. Her dad was actually upset with Anna for telling these sob stories on the internet to gain clout, as they clearly paint a wrong picture of their family life.
Their dad making triple the average Australian income per week. Had them living in a beautiful house on the water with a built-in pool. I've seen the house in person. It's beautiful. Being upper middle class is not being poor, Anna. Your exaggerated stories for the internet has always made your dad upset, and me, well, just angry.
In this video, Michaela literally destroyed Anna's entire nice girl personality. Apart from the things we discussed, Michaela also hinted that Anna keeps her pet birds in an abusive condition and does not really care for them. This claim, like all the other claims, came as a surprise because Anna is often seen with her lovely birds on Instagram or other social media platforms. The fire that erupted after this video was explosive. Michaela feared that Anna's loyal fans would come after her after this short confession, but people widely believed her side of the story. Some people mocked Anna on the internet for lying about being poor, and some of them went after Atis for being such a horrible person. Speaking of Atis, he was always a controversial personality on the internet. Despite being a big name on social media and having millions of followers, he's been accused of doing petty scams and inappropriately using OnlyFans. But this is not enough, because he also has grooming and sexual assault allegations against him. We'll talk about some of his victims further in this video, but what's relevant at this point is the behavior of his sister. Despite knowing that her brother has done some seriously unjustifiable things, Anna continues to support him and even lies to safeguard his reputation. Moving forward, we'll realize how fake Anna Paul really is and the lectures she gives about kindness, positivity and empowerment are nothing but a facade. After Michaela posted her video and put everything out in the open, Anna posted a response video shortly after and did an extremely poor job of explaining herself. First, Anna was upset with Michaela for exposing her online, claiming she felt betrayed by her as she had considered her a close friend for years. The internet watched as she attempted to defend herself in what many described as a bizarre and outlandish rant. Rather than directly addressing the accusations, Anna meandered through emotional appeals and confusing justifications which only added fuel to the fire.
The reason why it's taken so long is because this all took me by surprise, and it was a very big shock to me because somebody that I thought was my friend and that I was close with really hurt me. And 2 months ago, she was asking me to go to Fiji with her on a girls' trip. And last year, when my dad was apparently homeless and that was going everywhere crazy on TikTok, she was the one helping me through it, sending me voice messages telling me, don't listen to the people online, they're dumb, everyone is stupid, tell Papa it's going to be okay, I hope Papa's okay, don't tell him not to listen. She was helping me. So now this has all come as a very, very big shock and surprise because I thought we were...
In response to Michaela's allegation that Anna had ridiculed and body-shamed her own fans, Anna denied ever calling anyone fat. However, she did admit to calling a fan sweaty, explaining that the fan had been physically wet when Anna hugged her, which she found off-putting. What truly unsettled fans, though, was the coldness of the admission. The fan in question had reportedly approached Anna with genuine admiration, snapped a selfie, and said she loved her. For Anna to respond by publicly labeling her sweaty felt unnecessarily cruel and dismissive.
I may have called her sweaty because when somebody is wet and they touch you and then they leave, and when you're with your best friend and you are now wet because of them, you may say, I am now wet. Again, this was 4 years ago, but...
Then came the controversy around Anna's claims of growing up in poverty. During her entire social media career, she had painted a picture of financial struggle, telling stories about supporting her parents and escaping a difficult, impoverished upbringing. But Michaela, who has known Anna for 15 years, revealed that these stories were either heavily exaggerated or entirely fabricated. In her response video, Anna insisted she had never technically lied. According to her, while she might not have been the poorest person on the internet, the fact that her parents stress over groceries and she couldn't always afford what her peers had made her feel broke.
In the kitchen that the budget for the groceries that week is $30, it makes me feel broke. When we can't afford school uniforms, it makes me feel broke. When I'm 11, when I'm 10, and all my friends can afford something and my parents can't, it makes me feel broke. When they say, oh, I don't know how we're going to afford rent next week, that makes me scared and makes me feel broke. That does not mean that I was the most broke person on earth. There are definitely people in way worse situations than me, but that does not mean that I'm lying about the fact that I felt broke during those times.
This explanation sparked even more backlash. Many felt her attempt to equate feeling broke with actually experiencing financial hardship was tone-deaf and dismissive of people who have truly lived in poverty. It came across as a shallow justification for trivializing the lived experiences of countless individuals who don't have the privilege to simply feel broke because they are broke. While Anna clearly attempted to salvage her reputation with this public response, the internet remained deeply divided. Some fans continued to support her, attributing her statements to emotional overwhelm or poor wording. But a larger portion of the audience found her explanation weak, unconvincing, and even laughable. A lot of content creators on the internet used Anna's "I feel broke" phrase as a meme and made hilarious videos with it.
It makes me feel broke, feel broke. When we can't afford school uniforms, it makes me feel broke. It makes me feel broke, feel broke. When we can't afford school uniforms, it makes me feel broke, feel broke.
The fact that a lot of Anna's classmates came forward with pictures and proof that Anna lived in a mansion-like house and owned expensive bags and accessories in her childhood also did not help her case at all. What bothered fans even more about this response was the fact that Anna completely ignored Michaela's comments about Atis. Michaela said some seriously dark things about Atis in her video, and Anna's not responding to those allegations felt a little off-putting. While she tried to dodge comments about Atis in this response, she could not remain silent for long, because Michaela clapped back with 2 extremely scandalous podcasts, discussing her bad experiences with the Paul family. In these 5-hour-long podcasts, Michaela discussed in detail how Anna was fooling and taking advantage of her audience. She also revealed some pretty disturbing things about Atis Paul, mentioning that he was charged for the rape of a 13-year-old girl when he was 16, He even pleaded guilty in this case and paid compensation. Michaela released these podcasts to solidify her case and clear confusion regarding her claims, because people who supported Anna were continuously berating Michaela, asking her to show receipts and proof to back up the things she said. The first podcast Michaela released was nearly 2.5 hours long and came out a month ago. In this first episode, Michaela discusses Anna and how she is smartly manipulating her entire fan base and using her social media accounts to lure young fans to her OF. It is a reality that Anna has an extremely young and vulnerable fan base. If you look at her meetups, people who show up there are mostly 16 to 24-year-old girls. The fact that she's primarily an OF model makes this statistic even more disturbing. Some people on the internet argue that Anna is consciously trying to glamorize OnlyFans, and projecting it is an appealing career path for young girls. In her podcast, Michaela showed some screenshots of Anna's posts that were not at all appropriate for an underage audience. On top of that, Anna is trying to lure fans to her OF through lotteries and giveaways, which is equally concerning and morally incorrect. Next, Michaela discussed that every story Anna ever told about growing up poor and broke was actually a big fat lie. This time she backed up this claim with plenty of photos and screenshots, showing that she had a considerably glamorous lifestyle growing up. She showed pictures of Anna's childhood home, which had a pool and a nice backyard.
You had experiences and your parents had the money to pay for it. Does that equal being broke? No, it doesn't. I'm sick of it.
This lie is very grand, considering the fact that Anna built her entire brand over a rags to riches story. In her Instagram posts and TikTok videos, she often shared that they never had proper food growing up and struggled to even spend Christmas nicely. Michaela literally exposed Anna's every lie with relevant photos and proof. She showed the audience that Anna and her family owned luxury cars. She flashed her branded makeup, bags, and accessories on Instagram, and their family often dined in cafes and restaurants. From pictures, it's evident that Anna had a lifestyle that was far from broke. This lie seriously tarnished Anna's reputation and raised some questions about her credibility. Michaela also said that everything she claimed about Anna ridiculing her fans behind their backs was true. Anna did call her fans sweaty, and it was a word she used frequently in her conversations. In fact, according to Michaela, Anna and her mom even had issues with Glenn's appearance and weight, who was Anna's boyfriend.
She would call Glenn fat on the daily. She'd call him fat every single day. She'd fat shame him.
While these revelations were juicy and interesting for the audience, the things Michaela revealed about Atis left everyone extremely shocked and surprised. When this beef started, nobody expected that it would take such a dark and twisted turn. Michaela discussed in depth how horrible of a person Atis was, while mentioning that he was, in fact, a convicted rapist. She is 100% true in this claim, because there are police records that show Atis Paul pleaded guilty to 3 charges of carnal knowledge of a girl aged 12 to 16. This is considered sexual abuse and rape, because a minor that young cannot consent to sex. While he was convicted for this crime and paid compensation, no conviction was formally recorded. This happened because Atis himself was a minor when he committed this crime, so no formal conviction was recorded on his criminal record. Michaela also discussed the disturbing nature of her relationship with Atis Paul. She shared that Atis was strangely obsessed with her, and he financially abused her by taking 50% of her OF income in the name of managing her account. Whenever Michaela tried to lower this percentage because she felt Atis was not doing anything beneficial for her career, a fight would break out, and Atis would behave extremely unhinged. Michaela claimed that Atis physically abused her numerous times. It was common for him to push her, hold her tight, or threaten her during fights and arguments. She shared an extremely disturbing event where she was trying to pack her bags and leave during an argument, and Atis threatened to harm himself to make Michaela stay.
But it was when he went to his bedside table and got a knife out, it was not some BS knife. This was like one of those knives that those teenage boys have that's like for fishing, like an insane one that's like big, like this. Sorry, this fucking mic. Like this big. And I remember the handle. It was just very like scary to see this man with his eyes looking so weird and manic and like this urgency. Like when he picked that knife up, I thought he's gonna hurt me with it. So he's like, no, Michaela, like I'm sorry to reenact, but like no, Michaela, like, please, no, don't leave me. I'm going to kill myself. I'm going to stab myself in the neck, saying all sorts of crazy shit. You know, there's Glenn and Anna are starting to wake up. Mama's starting to wake up. The whole house is, and I'm obviously screaming too, because when he's like pushing me down and like pushing me into walls and shit, I'm like, this man's hurting me. He's literally putting his hands on me. Somebody help, like, someone help me. So
She shared videos of a blood-stained wall, her text messages with her best friend, where she was detailing the events and even her conversations with Anna. According to Michaela, Atis was mentally unfit and would often threaten to harm himself over serious, mundane things. He was also quite aggressive in his behavior. Slamming brakes, punching holes in the walls, and destroying things in rage was extremely common for Atis. The most disappointing part of this entire story is Anna's behavior towards her brother. According to Michaela, Anna knew everything about Atis's problematic behavior, but never actually did anything to help Michaela out. She would often send Glenn over to talk to Atis, but he never took a serious step to call out her brother's extremely unacceptable and even dangerous behavior. In fact, she would often post stories saying how proud she is of Atis and how much she loves him, despite knowing that he was a convicted rapist and a problematic person. Michaela also said that after these ugly fights with Atis, whenever she tried to confide in Anna, she would manipulate her to stay with her brother. She would say things like, "You are the only one who can fix him," and "You are the right person for him," just to make Michaela stay in her brother's life. Another thing that irked and disturbed a lot of people was the fact that Atis took both Anna's and Michael's OF content. In fact, Anna would often introduce her young friends who were also doing OF to Atis in hopes that they would strike a chord and start a romantic relationship. This happened to Michaela, and according to her, it happened to various other OF models who were close friends with Anna. In the end, Michaela discussed Alice Patterson and her case against Atis and Anna Paul. In 2021, when Michaela and Atis were in a relationship, Alice started making some posts on social media hinting that Atis had a sexual relationship with her when she was barely 13 years old. At that time, Michaela knew little about this case and naturally supported her boyfriend. Due to the backlash, Atis apparently sent a fake cease and desist to Alice, trying to make her shut up about this case. But fortunately, Alice realized that it was a cheap tactic to make her stop talking and shared a long Instagram post detailing how Atis Paul ruined her life and how badly she suffered mentally due to his actions. Michaela shared that she felt ashamed that she did not believe Alice at that time, because Atis and Anna both manipulated her into thinking that they were right. Michaela exposed how Anna shamelessly supported Atis despite knowing the truth and tried to threaten a small girl with a cease and desist. Anna repeatedly lied about the things whenever Atis was concerned and faced literally zero consequences for her actions. She was clearly enabling Atis's unhinged behavior from the very start, and even supported him in his seriously unjustifiable actions. Not only that, when this controversy was going on, she even tried to convince everyone with lengthy voice notes that Atis was innocent and Alice was the one manipulating everyone. Despite knowing Atis's history, she frequently planned fan meetups with him and let him be around vulnerable teenage girls who literally had no clue about his actions. Michaela said that she personally reached out to Alice after realizing that she was telling the truth all along, and this resulted in an ugly fight with Atis. In the next episode of her podcast, Michaela revealed that Anna had a deeply sarcastic and cutting personality. She frequently badmouthed fellow content creators, mocking their appearance and behavior, and this kind of cruelty had become a normalized part of her household culture. Michaela often witnessed Atis, Anna, and their mother ruthlessly picking apart people's personalities, even those they pretended to be friends with. Michaela went on to explain that despite public perception that she and Anna were like sisters and inseparable best friends, Anna never genuinely liked her. It was common for Anna and her mother to speak disparagingly about Michaela in German, making subtle jabs at her looks. Michaela also claimed that the friendly pictures Anna posted with her on social media were nothing more than a facade. Behind the scenes, Anna showed little real care or affection, leaving Michaela constantly vying for her approval. Michaela also discussed some more of Atis's unhinged actions, revealing that after their breakup, he immediately tried to engage with one of her friends who was barely 18 years old. Thankfully, Michaela reached out to this girl this time, told her the reality of Anna and Atis, and warned her about this sick and weird family. Next, Michaela revealed one of the most sickening and disturbing truths about Atis Paul. She described in detail how Atis would engage in activity with her while she was asleep, heavily sedated under prescription medications. The accounts she shared were so graphic and unsettling that we're not comfortable sharing the full clips. However, Every detail Michaela recounted was deeply disturbing and mind-numbing. Michaela explained that this happened repeatedly throughout their relationship, particularly during times when she was under the influence of medication. She caught Atis red-handed after undergoing her BBL surgery when she was prescribed strong painkillers. While she slept soundly due to the medication, she began noticing alarming signs, including recurring severe UTIs that were so bad they caused bleeding, ultimately leading her to realize what was happening. She suspected that Atis was doing something to her while she was asleep and decided not to take her medication one day. Atis did what Michaela expected, and she caught him red-handed. What bothered Michaela the most was the reaction of Atis when he was caught. She claimed that he did not take any responsibility and kept gaslighting her while completely denying that he did anything wrong. Michaela claimed that another girl who was in a relationship with Atis experienced the same things. He was addicted to graphic content and definitely had some weird fetishes.
So then he puts his hand on my shoulder and he's just kind of like sitting up a little bit. Like, as I said, we were sprinting before. He was sitting up a little bit, kind of staying stagnant for a bit. It was a bit too long. I just knew something was up and I got uncomfortable. I started to think in my head when he did that, like, oh, what the fuck, you know?
These accusations are extremely serious, dark, and twisted. Nobody expected that a petty catfight would end up in allegations like this from Michaela, but people are widely believing her side of the story, given the history of Atis and Anna's constant lies. In her initial video, Michaela also hinted that Anna completely neglects her pets and does not treat them nicely. Well, in this podcast, Michaela goes into detail about this subject. She shared pictures and videos of her numerous pets and how they disappear from her feed after a while when they're no longer hot content. Initially, Anna had a few dogs that she constantly posted about. However, as soon as she bought a few cats and birds, she palmed off these dogs to her dad, who was living in a van at that time and did not have the proper means to support these animals. Michaela also shared that she kept her birds in horrible condition, and 2 of her birds died due to the neglect. Interestingly, she never shared on Instagram that her pet bird had died because, in reality, she never truly cared about these animals. Michaela claimed that as soon as the hairless cats arrived in Anna's life, she stopped caring for the birds, locked them in a room, and rarely visited them. There are several photos on Hans Paul's profile and his father that show her birds living in extremely neglected conditions. Michaela emphasized that Anna primarily bought these birds and other animals to use them as props for Instagram content. In reality, Anna showed little genuine care for the animals, often passing them off to others the moment they became an inconvenience to the Paul family. Michaela also mentions Hans Paul and the controversy regarding him being homeless and living in a van. When Atis and Michaela were in a relationship, a controversy broke out on the internet where a TikTok creator named Veruca claimed that Anna's father was living a homeless life, struggling to buy food, and doing DoorDash deliveries to earn some cash. It was surprising for everyone to discover this news since Anna Paul is a big name in the industry, and her father being homeless was nothing short of a scandal. However, at that time, Anna denied that her father was homeless. She said that her father wanted to travel, and that's why he was living in a van. Hans Paul also posted an Instagram story detailing that every rumor of him being homeless was fake and that there was no truth to any of it. On the other hand, Michaela told a completely different story on her podcast. She claimed that Anna, Atis, and their mother always treated Hans like garbage. Anna's mother actually hated Hans's guts and cheated on him. Hans has been living in a van for a while now, and he's doing small jobs to support himself, but still unfortunately struggling. According to Michaela, the entire family regularly spoke poorly about Hans behind his back, showing little genuine care for him, and ultimately pushed him out of their lives. Despite Hans working tirelessly during his earning years to support his wife and children, his efforts were never truly appreciated. In fact, before he finally left the house, Hans was forced to live in the garage, a situation that only came about because Michaela personally pleaded for him to be allowed to stay on the property. Michaela shared that she had always maintained a good bond with Hans, viewing him as a father figure. After he left the family home, he stayed in touch with her for a while, though they've since lost contact. Michaela also noted that the Instagram story Hans later posted in defense of Anna was a bittersweet gesture, a final act of kindness from a man who continued to protect his children's reputation, even after being treated like an afterthought by his own family. Michaela also revealed that Anna has a half-sister who is also a content creator and a mother. However, Anna did not have any relationship with her or post about her anywhere. Michaela, on the other hand, was friends with this half-sister on Instagram and tried to reunite the family. But unfortunately, Anna's mother did not approve of this bonding and reunion. According to Michaela, Anna's mother has always been a jealous, insecure, and evil woman who did not let her children share a good bond with their sister, and even stopped Hans from being involved in their daughter's life. After the release of these two sizzling podcasts, the internet went ablaze. There was a lot of speculation and drama, and everyone was enjoying this hot tea. In response to Michaela's podcasts, Anna posted a half-hour-long response video, sharing her side of the story and sounding somewhat lame in the process. While she did touch on some major points in her video, she refused to comment on anything related to Michaela and Atis's relationship. According to her, since she was not in that relationship, it was not her place to say anything about it. She also added that she was not filing a defamation case against Michaela, because it's costly and highly time-consuming in Australia to do that. She started off her video by saying that Michaela reached out to her for a hangout nearly 4 months ago.
Months ago, she wanted to hang out with me. She asked me to come to her house. She asked me to make Snapchat content with her, which makes her money because she only wants to hang out with you if she can get something from you. And of course, I politely declined because I do not want to hang out with this person. I know what kind of person she is, and I do not want her in my life whatsoever. So I declined.
Next, she discussed her pets and claimed that none of the animals she had were treated badly.
So that is obviously not the case. I actually have photos. You can see in all these photos that I've never clipped my bird's wings, which I don't know why she would say that, because you can prove right here in photos they've never had clip wings, and I actually know exactly where all my birds are with receipts. Okay, so I had Quakesy, and he passed away last year, and he was my treasure, and I had him for the majority of my life. Then I had 3 other birds. Now these birds hated each other. They didn't get along. Every time I had them out together, they would just attack each other, and it was a constant struggle trying to keep them from biting each other. So I thought, for them to have the best life possible, I'll rehome them. I'll rehome them so they don't have to constantly be attacked by another bird, getting bitten left and right, right? So I put up screenshots. My dad helped me rehome them, and here you can see the dates, you can see everything. This is me rehoming my birds, and I care so much about where they went. It was such a big deal to me that they go to a loving home and that they're rehomed properly, that, for example, in one of the screenshots you'll see that somebody from a different state wanted to buy one of the birds, and I refused to sell to him because there is no way I'm putting my bird on a plane and putting him at risk of getting traumatized or scared or anything like that. I wanted them to have the most smooth transition into their new home, so I refused.
Anna also addressed the allegation that she was irresponsible with her content and did not care about the fact that she had a young audience.
She's so concerned about all my underage fans. Okay, now she didn't show a receipt, but I will. Here are my analytics. You can see that 93.8% of my followers are over the age of 18, which means majority of my following are adults, okay? And I just find it very interesting that while all this drama is going on that she kicked off about her being concerned about my fans and they're all underage and she's so worried, what does she post on her Instagram while all eyes are on her, while her views would be higher than ever, of actual children wanting to know, ooh, what's the tea? What's Michaela going to say about Anna? What does she do? She posts slide after slide after slide on her Instagram story of a link to her other page where you can buy videos of her and her partner having sexual intercourse. That's how concerned she is.
Anna also once again denied that her dad was homeless, claiming that he loved to live a van life.
Here is the money that I've sent my dad in the last 12 months. I have sent my father nearly $60,000 tax-free just for pocket money, just for funsies, just so he can spend it on whatever he wants. And that doesn't include all the trips I take him on, because I fully pay for those out of my own money. I pay for every flight, every car, every drink, every meal, everything. It's all included so that we can have the best time possible. That is the reality of my dad's life. That is the reality of how I treat my dad. We've been to Miami, we've been to LA, we've been to Norway.
According to Anna, she has never body shamed or ridiculed anyone in her life. Michaela was making up these stories to tarnish her reputation online, since she's widely known for body positivity content. She also denied Michaela's allegation that she ridiculed her on appearance, showing screenshots saying that she has always been supportive of her as a friend. In the end, Anna laid some heavy allegations on Michaela.
While we're talking about underage boys, she sent photos of herself to 14-year-old boys in a group chat when she was 19 years old. And to make it worse, she stayed in contact with these boys until they were overage. This is not a nice person.
If you think this feud would end with this last response video, you are wrong. Because Atis also responded to Michaela in an extremely long and dull Instagram post. This IG post consisted of many slides. He took accountability for his actions, saying that he and Michaela both were toxic and mentally unfit, but all of this had nothing to do with Anna. He said that Michaela is doing all this for views and clout, and dragging his sister for no reason into the mess the relationship created. He clarified that he never had sex with Michaela while she was asleep and never physically harmed her. He also spoke about Michaela's BBL surgery, stating some hard facts. Atis said that BBL is a highly painful surgery where your bottom remains swollen for days, and it's quite difficult for anyone to stand up after this procedure. He explained that it would have been impossible for any kind of sexual activity to occur within that region without significant pain. He claimed that Michaela's allegations were not only untrue, but also logistically impossible. Atis also countered Michaela's allegations that he never did anything to manage her page and manipulated her into giving him 50% of her OF income. He shared some screenshots as proof that Michaela's income was going up during the times he was managing her OF. He also claimed with screenshots that he paid for hundreds of promos, and even supported her starting her bikini brand. According to Atis, Michaela manipulated him into recording intimate content and later posted it to her OF without his permission. He admitted that he might have given consent for the later videos, but he never wanted to be part of them initially. Atis also claimed that Michaela kept stalking him and his family, harassed any girl he was in contact with, and begged him to take her back even months after their breakup. He also denied that he ever took any crypto from her account, and claimed that he showed Michaela proof that he did not have access to her accounts in the first place. In another post, Atis attached various public videos of Michaela admitting that she stalked Atis and Atis's family. After Anna's response and Atis's posts, Michaela had to respond, of course, because this drama should never end. In a series of TikToks, Michaela responded to every single thing Atis and Anna said about her. First, she clapped back at the statement that Anna's father was not homeless. Next, she claimed that Atis did take Anna's OF content and showed some pictures to back up her claims. Michaela also clarified that she invited Anna to Fiji and requested her to film Snapchat content with her, only because her ex-friend Karina wanted Anna to be there. In response to Anna's statements that she had never called anyone fat in her life, Michaela showed a bunch of screenshots where Anna was calling people fat. Michaela also clarified that she was never in contact with any underage boys. She shared screenshots proving that she only communicated with them after they had turned 18. The ongoing drama between Anna Paul, Michaela Testa, and Atis Paul shows no signs of slowing down. It's quickly become one of the hottest and most chaotic influencer feuds of 2025, completely consuming audiences who regularly follow their every move. Michaela seems determined to expose the Paul family, believing them to be some of the worst people she's ever encountered, while the Pauls continue to deny any wrongdoing and refuse to take accountability. As a result of this nasty conflict, Anna Paul's TikTok account has been deleted multiple times, and she reportedly lost over 1 million followers on TikTok. Given the massive following all three influencers have, clips and updates about this feud are flooding everyone's For You page. Michaela has even promised to drop another explosive podcast episode, where she'll share even more shocking experiences about her time with the Paul family. At this point, the amount of information and allegations flying around feels absolutely head-spinning. Between the endless cycle of blame, accusations, and desperate defenses, it's clear this saga is far from over. What are your thoughts on Anna Paul and this drama? Drop a comment and let us know. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for even more insane TikTok drama and unbelievable internet stories.